Go outside, they said. Go to the beach, they said. It'll be fun, they said. It's always fun until you end up with half an arm and a chewed up bloody face. Hey guys, I'm Nidhi, and I'm here to remind you to get out of the water! Actually, I think that was Chief Brody's job in this scene. If you still haven't caught on to what today's video is about, it's about my review of one of the most thrilling films of the 70s, Jaws, directed by the one and only Steven Spielberg. For those of you who are unaware, Jaws is not just about some killer shark who terrorizes a mini island, but it is also a cinematic milestone. Jaws is awarded such an honorary title because of Spielberg's effective usage of cinematography and sound, making the film realistic and a surefire way to give you the goosebumps. However, the elements of cinematography and sound used in the film will be discussed later on in this review. For now, allow me to enlighten you about some background information about Jaws. For those of you who don't know, Jaws is defined as the first summer blockbuster in cinematic history that grossed $14 million in its first week. Although that is minimal when compared to the opening week profits made by today's films, it was pretty jaw-dropping in the 70s. Before my analysis of the opening scene of Jaws, I would like to refresh your memory on the plot line and setting of Jaws. Jaws is set in a mini island of Long Island, New York. The film revolves around three main protagonists: Martin Brody, a police chief, Matt Hopper, an archaeologist, and Quint, a fisherman. In a nutshell, Chief Brody, Hopper, and Quint join forces to capture and kill the shark that has unleashed its reign of terror on the people of a mini island. After these attacks, the three men demand the closing of a mini beach and begin their quest for taking down the rogue great white in an epic battle of man versus nature. What's a shark's favorite TV show? Shark Trek! Okay, wait, don't click off the video. I promise I won't annoy you with another joke about sharks. Instead, I'll proceed to my review about my favorite scene in Jaws, which happens to be the get out of the water scene. Alright, enough with the jibber jabber. Firstly, the most significant camera shot used in the scene would be the close-up shot, which was used to show Chief Brody's anguish whenever someone new entered the ocean. What makes this scene unique is how the close-up on Chief Brody's face gets tighter and tighter and tighter as a new person enters the ocean. The gradual narrowing on Chief Brody's face shows the buildup of his worry as a new person enters the water, because they become potential targets of the shark. The audience soon digests the intensity of Brody's worry, and they begin to think, if the main character is in distress, I should be too. It creates nail-biting tension as they wonder if Brody's paternal instincts will kick in and save the potential victim, who happens to be a child. Moving on, a low-angle shot was used to show the movement of the shark as it approached the yellow lilo Alex was floating on. This shot was used by Spielberg to convey the superiority of the shark in the scene and the unawareness of the victim of the danger that lurks beneath him. As the shot got tighter, the audience became more tense because it meant the shark was getting closer to Alex. As I was watching this scene, I screamed at my monitor, "Alex, swim away! Move!" To my dismay, Alex could not hear my screams and ended up being the shark's mid-afternoon snack. This was what Spielberg intended to do. He wanted the audience to become more engaged in the scene by including a vulnerable child as the victim and show the oblivious nature of the child through the usage of a low-angle shot. It notifies the audience about the approaching danger, but also establishes the unfamiliarity of the child in the situation, placing the audience in a hopeless position as they begin to realize that they are only spectators and cannot do anything to save Alex. Let's avoid the mistake Alex made and swim away from the cinematography and dive right into the sound used in the scene. In film, there are two types of sound, diegetic and non-diegetic. Non-diegetic sound is a sound that is edited in post-production. Diegetic sound is a sound that is audible to the characters. The non-diegetic sound found in the get out of the water scene is the infamous sound motive of the shark. Allow me to sing it for you. Dun 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 dun. Okay, I'm not Celine Dion, so I'll let you listen to the sound motive yourself. The sound motive of the shark is accompanied with a low-angle shot of the shark moving towards Alex. The director used the sound motive in the scene to establish the presence of the shark. Although we can't see the shark, we can feel its ominous presence through the music. Furthermore, as the shark moves closer to Alex, the sound motive increases in tempo and gets louder. This creates suspense in the audience as they almost fall off the edge of their seats, waiting for the attack to occur. The sound preconditions the audience to think that there is danger approaching, even though it's not visible yet. In this scene, although the visual is quite innocent, when paired with the sound, it foreshadows to the audience the potential shark attack. As I was watching the scene, I couldn't tell the difference between the fast-paced motive and the beating of my heart. Finally, we've reached the end of my review. Congrats for making it this far! I'm surprised you still decide to continue watching after my corny segue into today's video. I would give Jaws 10 clapperboards out of 10 clapperboards. Spielberg's ability to use sound and cinematography to create the ominous presence of the shark without actually showing the shark is impressive and the mark of a true filmmaker. When thinking about it, Spielberg did not have the technological advantages today's filmmakers possess that allow them to make films more realistic. All Spielberg had was a malfunctioning mechanical shark and a creative mind. Fortunately, the latter helped him to create a movie that will forever reserve a place in the Cinematic Hall of Fame. To be candid, before I watched Jaws, I thought it was just another overrated movie that simply gained attraction for its star-studded cast and tolerable plot. However, after I watched the film, I couldn't have been more wrong. Jaws was gripping due to its effective usage of sound and cinematography to immerse the audience in a world of fear and trauma. I also developed an admiration towards Spielberg's grit in directing Jaws, after learning that the heavy utilization of film elements was a final resort because the mechanical shark he intended to use didn't work. Spielberg's resilience combined with his originality is what made Jaws the success it is today. I can confidently say that if I were to watch one last thriller movie before I die, it would be Jaws without hesitation. Well, I think I've harped on enough about this movie, and I should probably leave you to go watch Jaws for yourself. Or rewatch it if you're anything like me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, fair adios, my fair Spanish ladies and gents.